on, guys? Today we're going to be working on the Overland Tundra. The plan is to pull the spare tire off and we're going to start building out a swing out tire carrier because I want to retain the use of my tailgate and also to make it easy to, access everything, because right now I can't even utilize my storage box because in order to get to it I got to undo the strap and it's just a pain in the ass. And I got this set up temporary to simulate the weight on the back of the truck just to see how it would ride. I've been driving the truck around for probably about a month now with this setup on it, and it seems to handle just fine. Nothing crazy with the weight of the tire being out back. Once I get this spare tire swing out mount on here, the tire is going to stick a little bit further past the bumper. Another thing I had planned to add to it, it won't add too much weight, but I'm going to integrate a bike rack hanger of some kind that's going to go through the wheel center, and it'll attach to the spare tire mount that this tire is going to be mounted to. That way we can put our mountain bikes on the back for, when we go on our little adventures or whatever, just trying to get everything we need and keep it on the truck and trying to do it in a slick manner. So that's the goal for today. Get material measured out, figure out what we need, kind of fool around with a couple little things on here for latches and just try and get this thing built. So let's get started. All right, I just came back in from outside, went through my scrap pile. I was able to find some 2.5 by 2.5, I think, 1/8 inch wall square tube, which will work good on here. It is a little boxier than I was hoping. I was looking for something slimmer vertically, so like a 2-inch by 3-inch rectangle tube, but I don't have anything right now like that, so I'm just using what I got. Probably to lighten weight or whatever, I might punch some holes through it and sleeve it with some tube. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna get going on that here pretty soon. I'm gonna bring the material in. I was able to find a long enough chunk that will work. I just gotta cut it down and we'll start chopping and modifying and see what we make. All right, so I was able to find 2.5 by 2.5 square tubing, which is going to work good because I will be able to cut a notch in the end of it so I can at least capture half of the tube here. So that way the material is going to cover here and here, wrapping around it, so it'll be a nice tight setup. I may even punch a hole dead center and have this sit fully inside of the tubing. I'm not sure yet, but we'll just see how it pans out as I go here. This is a swing out tire spindle and sleeve kit, premium China garbage, but hey, it's cheap and it works, so I can't beat that. But yeah, I decided on cutting out a 4-foot chunk of material. It's going to put me, let me just measure this out. So center of the spindle that's currently on here puts me about there. And about, let's see here, 6 3/4 inch back from the end, we have this pin hole, which I am assuming was originally from a spring-loaded latch pin of some kind that was on the end. I may reuse that, or I may just weld that hole back up, close it back up. But that's kind of what we're looking at. It probably won't be this full length. We'll probably end up stopping it just before this pin, but it's a lot easier to trim material off than it is to add material back on. Either way can be done, but that's how I'm going to go about it. But Put you back on a time lapse here and watch the magic. Okay, as you can see here, I have a brand new spindle, but this one's already on here. I polished it up, got it kind of cleaned up so my bearings and stuff slide on good. The plan is to use this for now, see how well this works, and I can always change it out. But for mock-up, this is already here. I'm just gonna run with it. And then obviously you can see I got a chunk of all thread here. What I need to do is drive the races inside this, and there's a bazillion different ways to do this, but what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna use my chunk of all thread. I run it through this socket, and this socket fits exactly not exactly, but just probably a few thousandths undersize of the ID where this race slides into. So I'm going to use this socket. I got a retainer plate here that's going to go on the back side. As you can tell, it's got like a little cup, or it's dished. That'll go on the bottom side, and then I'll just use some wrenches, tighten that up, and it'll suck the races in there. I don't have to beat on this thing or anything to get the races in. Obviously there's tools for this, the proper tools, a race driver, whatever, bearing driver, seal driver set. I don't have one, so this is what I'm gonna use. But yeah, to get the races started in there, use a brass hammer, just so I don't gall up the races or the sleeve. I'm just trying to keep everything nice. So that's what we're gonna do right here. So as you were just watching, I use that chunk of all thread and that socket and the little retainer plate there or whatever, and I sandwiched all that in here. Like I said, also there's other tools to do this, but there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say, so this is the way I chose to do it today. But yeah, I got them all drove in there, both sides. They're bottomed out completely to the inside where it was machined. So now this thing is ready to do a dry assembly so we can tack and mock up the bar, try and get that part of it laid out. And then we can start figuring out our upright and some gussets, trussing, whatever, to get this spare tire mount. And my plan is to get the tire mounted dead center. I really don't like, well, the bar is going to be only just past center lengthwise, maybe a little bit shorter than that. But I don't want a whole bunch of leverage out here putting a bunch of strain on this. Obviously, when it's closed, it'll be resting on the bumper, but you know, to prevent premature failure of the bearings or anything like that, try and keep it a short little deal so there's not a lot of out or leverage out way out far. Golly. Anyways, yeah, we'll get this all assembled and go from there. my bearing sleeve on, mocked up. This is just fitted here. I got about a 1/4 or so of an inch gap below. And I'm going to use this piece of channel. I got to clean it up because there's a couple of little weld boogers from something. And anyways, we're going to have this guy go vertical here, and wherever I decide to cut this off for my latch mechanism, we're going to run a piece of flat strap up and over the top, which will help tie in my spare tire mount. This was made this was previously attached to a headache rack that's now on my other Tundra, so we're going to reuse it on this guy. But this is going to sit up there with this flat end resting on the top like so. I'm running a 37-12-5-17, so that puts me, the bottom of my tire will just be at the bottom of the swing out carrier, and then it'll be about yay high off the top of the tailgate, centered of the tailgate or the bed or whatever. So I think that'll end up looking pretty good. Obviously I'm going to add a bunch of gussets, tie everything in real good. And as I was saying before, I'm going to run a flat strap, probably 3/16, 1/4 inch flat strap, and we'll put a little bender down here, have it run up and over top of this guy. This will be attached, and then it will come down, and then on that same piece of strap, I'm going to cut out a radius in it, similar to what I did on this piece, and have it fit up around the top here. So I got this off of the bottom, and then all my support will be up off the top here to kind of help keep the lateral pull to a minimum. There's probably going to be some deflection. That's kind of just how it is. And this is an off-road truck, so I mean, obviously it's not going to be bouncing around loose but every little bit that I can keep it from jiggling around and whatever is just going to help it last a lot longer and not get too beat up. So. All right, I've been drilling away. As you can see, there's stuff all over the floor and on my table. Last one. Here she goes. So, now this thing is a ton lighter. I'll lighten it up quite a bit. It's still got some weight to it, but these are some go fast holes, I have to take a deburring tool and clean each hole a little bit just to kind of clean them up. I might even see about finding a countersink bit so I can put a little
flare on each hole here, kind of put a nice little clean taper to it so it's not just a straight hole. But I just want to get this on here real quick and show what this is supposed to look like. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Kind of looks slick. I'm liking it. So yeah, as mentioned before, I'm going to, I still need to clean this piece up. That guy's gonna go there. I will most definitely put a plate here, put a couple holes in it, plug weld it. Same thing, I'll put a piece of plate on the back side of it here that ties into the back side here, so we have lateral strength front to back, so that way the weight of the tire is not trying to pull this thing down. But that's what we got. That's what we got today so far.